Welcome on board. This is episode 2 of the Chutney podcast, better known as the Curry Stew, with yours truly, Big Daddy. And the man who is just currying the stew. Dissimo. Kiabate.
Just doing this means that it means curry, right? It don't mean anything else, right?
Well,
Or
it
curry
means
stew, or it just
curry.
means...
It means anything in a pot, basically. Whatever we want to put in the pot.
Right. So whatever we put in the pot, tonight you're going to find out exactly what is in the pot.
Right.
So thank you very much for joining us. And yes, today we're going to be speaking about something that is very pertinent to artists trying to get their music out there, and especially some of the artists that are younger in the game. Not young in age, but young in the business. So people even who have some sort of experience, but they're still, not getting their music and their voice heard. So, I've been seeing lots of things happening online through the socials saying that there's a fight down with artists. So today we're going to be speaking about, I know Big Daddy, I know you love the topic, eh? You want to say the topic or I'll say the topic? I think when I say it...
No, you say it.
So the topic is why your music not playing on radio. Because a lot of artists want to know why their music not playing on radio. And then your friends or people that know you ask the same question of people who are working on radio and other places. They're like, okay, why is my song not being played? Or, as they would put it, where my song? I hear it. Today we want to deal with that and probably discuss why that happens and what are some of the solutions around that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I will have my angle and my take on things, but Big Daddy will have it from a radio perspective, of course. And I guess you'll discuss as to what are some of the things that you all look for when it comes to songs being put on radio for rotation. But before we get to that, I just wanted to just throw something out there. People say that, okay, you record a song, you get it done, produced, written, mixed, mastered, or not. You just put it out there. And you just send it to your stations or send it to your DJ friends and stuff. And I think it's really important from the get-go. You need to understand and know what is your end goal. Is it that you want to get famous? Do you want to become a soca artist, a chutney soca artist, just to say that you're performing in places or to make money or to, I don't know, do something else? Probably let it launch you into something else. Maybe you think that you're real good looking and you want to see if you could become an actor or actress or meet this one or that one or get into certain spaces. Why are you releasing music in the first place? And I think that's a really pertinent question because I know people who just do it for, I wouldn't even say it's the wrong reasons, but it's reasons that are not going to help you probably in the long run. We shouldn't say that this will never happen because you do this, or this should never happen. There are always exceptions to the rule, but you may or may not be that exception. It's important to understand that. So I just wanted to lead off with that so that we'll get an idea as to how we're going to dig and delve into this topic. Why your song not playing on radio, right?
Yeah.
So from a radio perspective, what are some of the things, Big Daddy, that you all look for when a song is delivered to you? So first of all, how are songs delivered for airplay? What is it? They call a partner, somebody has your number, or they send you an email. Is there official something that radio stations have? Or do you all just get these songs or somebody drops them off or sends you an email or a WhatsApp or something saying, hey, look my song, or download it from SoundCloud, or busy link here, or what is it? How
Unfortunately, all of the above is the case right now. All of the above.
Ooh, real avenues, boy. All right.
Yeah, but fortunately, mostly people send it via email. We do have an email in place for most radio stations, I believe, from what I know. In the station that I work in, we get the emails, we get the song, we get the instrumental, sometimes we get the a cappella. It all depends. But the first thing that hits you when you get a song is the quality of the song. Right? The production quality, the sound quality. From the get-go, if that is not up to standard, then you wouldn't really put it on radio because, you would be hearing it sounding like it wasn't done professionally. And we do get a lot of those, a lot of those songs that you feel like you can just create at home or something. You get a lot. No, seriously. And then from then, once it meets the criteria for the production quality, then we look at the actual vocals of the individual or the individuals. Are they hitting the right keys? Are they on pitch? Are they on time? Are they missing the beat altogether? Things like that. You kind of sense from the get-go as well, from the first couple of lines, if this person is going to, follow what needs to be followed, or if they're a little off, or, a little more than a little off. And then thirdly is what you're actually singing about. Sometimes you may be singing about topics that you think that may be good enough for the radio, but then there may be subtle little hints towards things like domestic violence, or maybe some sort of sexual act, or something that really isn't fit for radio. So we look at those things and we tell ourselves, okay, once the criteria is met, we can release your song, we can play your song on radio. But it doesn't guarantee like regular play. I mean, it guarantees that your song is getting a release, but regular play is a whole different story. I mean, that is dependent on so many different things. And I know you have your opinion on that as well, too, from a broader sense, not from just the radio sense and just from, if you're looking at it from the Chutney perspective, which of course we are talking about as well. I know you wanted to talk about that and how that impacts from a general music sense. So maybe, I don't know if you want to put that in here now as we're talking about that particular criteria.
Well, just jumping off of one of the things that you mentioned, which is if you're hitting the right keys and notes and stuff like that in a song.
Mm-hmm.
Now, answer me something honestly. Are you classically trained in music?
Nope.
No? Right.
Nope.
Okay, great. So that's the first thing that people jump on. It's like, but them ain't no music. How it is I going to have this in key or not? If you know if it's Z or G.
He judging my music, but he's not no musician. He ain't classically trained. Yeah, you hear that a lot. You really hear that a lot.
Yes, I know that that's something that you hear. I probably hear it less than you do. But strangely enough, right? We are human beings as other people are, hopefully. Yep. And when you hear someone saying something, right? Let's okay. I have my voice. You have your voice that has its own sound. Let's say if we both sing a song together and it has a melody and we're singing the same thing or whatever, hitting the right notes and stuff, that is done largely by tuning software. So when you hear most, probably not every single one, but most songs have some sort of vocal tuning in it.
Right.
So whether you use auto-tune or Melodyne or something else, it usually has some sort of pitch correction in it. So we don't know what is Z from G, right? As the regular layman, I'm not classically trained in music either. Right. However, I could tell if something does not belong there or not. Even when someone is DJing, you would hear it. That's why you have things like software like mixed in key. So mixed in key would basically take, well, this is a really small representation of it, right? But this is something called a Camelot wheel. You probably wouldn't be able to see it properly on the camera, right? But it's a Camelot wheel. And that basically tells you in numbers and letters what song keys go with the other one.
Right.
So many times, I'm not sure if people would use a lot of it now. They will say, okay, these songs would go together because they are around the same key or in relative key or something like that, right? But for the layman person who is just listening, we don't know what is that, right? We have no idea. Somebody came up with a system like that and put music into different scales. So great, lovely, nice that you figured it out. But that's for the people who are making the music. Because they understand how the people enjoy music. So we don't really need to reinvent the wheel or anything like that, but we just need to understand that songs, modern music, usually fits into a standard tuning or would fit into certain scales. So you'd have from A, B, C, D, or you'd say, okay, it starts from C and goes up. But yes, there are scales or whatever, but the regular person who's listening, there are people who would understand music, but they're not going to say, oh, well, this is a really interesting thing, or this is a nice note, and it went from F to A in such a wonderful way. And okay, if there are people like that, okay, that's great. But there's something that we need to understand, which is it melodious? Is the melody enjoyable? Is it
Right. Exactly.
satisfying? Is it
Exactly.
soothing? Is it something that you want to hear? Like, I met a singer out in London. Just speaking with her, the way she spoke is like almost like she was singing. And like myself and a couple other people who were there were like, whoa, I could hear you. I could hear it in your voice. You have a really good
Yeah.
voice. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, thank you very much. The English accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just need to know that it sounds good. And yeah, that's cool. That's great. We like that. It's one thing to know that you're hitting the right notes. But then some people feel as though once they hit the right notes, that's it for music. But no, again, the example of both my voice and yours.
Yeah.
The thing is that your voice has a completely different tone. I cannot sound like you. Same as you will not be able to more likely sound like me.
Like you. Yeah.
Right? So your voice is probably a little brighter than mine. Mine may be a little more rounded and probably a little darker and a little muffled and stuff. We have different sounding voices. So even if we're singing the same song and we use tuning software and we pitch our voices perfectly, it's still going to sound different.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So Kumar Sanu and Arjit Singh could sing the same song, but it's going to sound different.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have local artists, male or female, both singing the same song, using the same tuning software, it's going to sound different. It's one thing to think that, yeah, well, I'm key and this, the producer makes sure, or it's sounding good and I sing everything note for note and it's good. It's not only about that, it's about how you sound. Because another thing that I am very, very adamant about with when people ask about music and this kind of thing is that your voice is an instrument.
Yep.
So when people ask what makes a Chutney soca song a Chutney soca song, what makes a soca song, what makes an Afrobeat song an Afrobeat song, it's, yes, sometimes the instruments, sometimes it's the rhythmic patterns, but ultimately a lot of the times when it comes to soca and Chutney, soca music, it's the voice. Because you could have, a lot of times we've had actually Afrobeat beats playing, even though it's soca music is derived from that.
Yeah.
Not Afrobeats, but African rhythms, right?
Yeah.
Once you put the vocal on top of it, then people understand what the song is. So they'll understand, okay, this is soca, this is really cool. And then when you speak in your own dialect and the words that you say, they'll be able to tell if you're from Trinidad, sometimes even if you're from Tobago.
Yeah.
Or St. Lucia or somewhere else. All of that just let you all know that, yeah, it's one thing to say, well, yeah, if you're hitting the right notes and if you're in the right key and stuff, yeah, that's one thing. But it's just important to understand that your voice is the main instrument in the song. Once you have a vocal and it's there to be the main thing that people have to listen to, that is an instrument and you have to look after it accordingly. And I will get into more of that.
And the thing is, right, when coming to Chutney music or Indo-Caribbean music, if you want to put it that way, we get a lot of cover versions these days, right? Of course, Chutney has become somewhat like soca, where if it's not any festival, if it's not the carnival, if it's not, needed for a particular occasion per se, you're really not getting a lot of Chutney releases outside of, said festival or carnival. And so you're getting a lot of cover versions, and what you're actually getting is a lot of the same song. So you might get 9, 10. There was an instance where we got 12 or 13 versions of one Bollywood song, and it makes it very, very easy to know, to feel and understand and just get all the vibes from maybe one or two of those songs, two of those versions that sound really good with not only what I said, but exactly what you're saying, Richard, in terms of the vocals being an instrument to the sweetness, or as we say in the industry, the surr in the voice, right? And right away, it's very, very easy which vocal or which set of vocals sound better, in a particular version of a song, or maybe it's just one or two versions. You're still going to be able to detect it off the bat, right? It's not going to be something to say, well, very hard for me to say which one sounded better. It's very easy because not only in terms of our radio station do we get hundreds, sometimes close to 1,000 songs in a space of time. Some of us are doing it for many, many years. So this thing is something that has just been, feeding into our system over and over and over. So we kind of get tuned to this whole process. Everything you talking about, everything I'm talking about, maybe other stuff as well too. We just get tuned into the whole process.
So then wait a minute. If you get 10 or 12 versions of the same Bollywood song,
we just run it like a rhythm. Sometimes.
What? So you'll play several versions of the same song?
Well, sometimes there have been some occasions where 4 or 5 songs of the same cover, of the same 4 or 5 covers of the same Bollywood song sound really nice, right? They meet all the criteria and they're sweet as well. Because most of the times these are the artists who are the veterans. Some of them have been doing it for a while, so they understand what they need to give in the song. So we might give everybody a little, minute and a half, do a little mix kind of thing. But that's not a regular thing. That just happens once in a while.
Because, okay, so here's something that that happens with me. And again, this might just be a me thing, but it can't be me alone. Somebody else must feel this way. Sometimes you'd have, more than not, you would have a Bollywood song that would come out and you just fall in love with it. Right? So let's say Khoobsurat from Street 2, right? Or Aaj Ki Raat or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love those 2 songs. I think they're very well produced and, the way that it was done, I find it was really, really good. Well done. But if I hear a local version of that,
and where you're going,
it almost, especially if it's not done well enough, and I cannot say what well enough is going to be. I cannot tell you if it needs more dantal and dolak. I can't tell if it needs a steel pan in it. I can't tell you if it needs somebody bawling from the top of their lungs or say things like kia and mie, and I don't know what it would take, right? But it could potentially spoil and ruin that for me. And I would not want to listen to that version, as we like to call it here, right? I would not want to hear it. And then if I realize that there's some sort of regularity in the copying and doing over these Bollywood version thing, right? It's actually going to let me know, okay, this artist or band or unit or whoever it is, a reputation for doing the same thing and pulling the same stunt. And then after a while, as a person who might pay very little more attention at others to these things, it's going to turn me off of you. And when I hear your name or your names, whoever it is, I'm probably not going to be inclined to listen to you. And that is a reality. And these are things that you need to understand. So while you may have friends and followers and these people who say they love you and care
down the road
and whoever, this is something that I think we will dig deeper into another episode, is that why did you become an artist anyway? Is it because you want to make people love you? You want to get a forward from somewhere, or you want to get free bread from the bread van? I'm just saying this, right? Because why are you doing this? Because I've heard it so many times where artists are in interviews and they say, well, this is what the people and them want me to sing. And I'm like, what?
Because so it's like they take a survey. Where am I missing? Where am I missing?
Where am I to sing?
You're missing that? All right, I'm singing that.
So then you are literally relegating yourself as a person who is at the whim and fancy of other people that you did not start your career for. So how come that became so important? I think in another sense, and many other people in different genres of music, that you become an artist because you want to express your artistic self in song. Whatever that means to you. And if it means that you listen to people and they tell you, well, you should sing a rum song, or you should sing a song about cake and ice cream, or it
Can
could
I?
be anything,
I
you
wouldn't
have
go
to
there. I ain't going there. I ain't going there.
you have to determine as an artist, as the person who's supposed to be leading the others, not following, you have to determine for yourself, is this what you need to do? Is this what you should do? Is this your path? Because then, when you could come on radio interviews and other interviews, because you have online platforms and stuff, right? So when you come on these platforms and you say, this is what the people and I want to sing, well, then you may just sing something that is not suitable to your voice, may not be suitable for you, because you may not be a person that could sell that particular song.
Exactly.
So let's say if I go to sing a rum song, I cannot sell a rum song because I don't drink rum. I don't drink alcohol, right? So how am I going to sing that? I could probably do some acting and try and sell it that way.
Yeah.
But to say, because then afterwards, you're going to have to live this thing. You have to be able to say, all right, I have this rum song, and everywhere people see me, they're going to expect me to be inebriated. They expect me to be drunk, and they expect me to be slurring, right? Or they're going to be asking me, so where's he drink for today and that kind of thing. Am I ready for that sort of attention?
But the thing is, again, not to cut you across, but the thing is, a lot of the artists out there will say, well, we have to please the people, right? Not only is it that they want me to sing this or sing that, but we have to please the people. We have to please the market. And if we don't sing what they want us to sing, then they wouldn't be interested. And, we will have to create stuff that is from scratch, and it will take us longer for us to get those songs popular. These are things I hear, right? These are things I hear on a regular basis. Then they make the fans and supporters believe it to the point and encourage it to the point where they will come and tell you, as someone in the media, someone on radio, they will come and tell you, you're not supporting them. This is what we want to hear. You're not supporting them. No, 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 no. And they will start to get vexed with you because you are trying to make the artist a little more, for want of a better word, original, or at least creative in a sense. Maybe not totally original, but very creative, and to form their own, even if they want to do a Bollywood, maybe, as I've told a lot of artists in the past, write something in English, get it translated, come up with your own melody. It's still kind of Bollywoodish, although it's not from a movie, but it's like a Hindi song that you are singing. How many of them have been interested in that? Almost none. Maybe one, maybe two. That is it. And this is the kind of feedback you get on a regular basis. It's almost as if, it's almost as if the blind leading the blind to an extent, if you want to put it that way.
Okay, so just on a quick point.
Or the deaf leading the deaf.
So I have to call a name, right? While I know we stay away from calling names, especially people locally, because people honestly take things personally and get offended by things, and that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say, is anybody telling Vibes Cartel what to sing?
No. No way.
Is anybody telling Burna Boy what to sing?
No.
I don't know, and they seem to make it somehow because you're selling who you are. Don't sell out yourself. You need to sell who you are. You need to prove why you are an artist in the first place. And let's touch on that for just a couple seconds. As a singer, you are a musical artist, right? A person that painting and drawing thing, that's an artist.
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference.
Yeah.
So just know that, right?
One has an E, one doesn't.
That's right, right? So the artist is the person who is expressing themselves musically, lyrically, who is getting their word out and their message. Just saying it, I'm just thinking about certain local artists that are so easy to say their names because they express themselves so well. And they're very popular for it because the message is being brought out in a way that is easily digestible to people. But when you have people who it's not to say that the people are wrong or anything like that, it's just that you need to have a direction. And if you don't, when you think you reach that certain place that you think you want to reach, when you get there, you're going to be lost. Because you're going to wait for the people to tell you to do this now or do that now? No, then you're not leading. At what point you go to become the leader? You cannot wait until that point in time. People are not selected for leadership positions in anything unless you have the qualities of a leader. That's just it. Yep. You don't just reach a position where you just become a leader just because somebody say, hey, just do this now. And use the leader, use the manager, whatever. I'm sure that probably happens somewhere, right? But not in the vast majority, or you shouldn't depend and rely on something like that happening. You need to set the direction and say, okay, this is where I'm going, or these are the parameters that I'm comfortable working within, and this is what I want to sing or speak about. So I think that you all need to realize that you all are the leaders. The people are there to enjoy your leadership, your message, your art. So I don't know if anybody is telling Picasso, hey, draw basketball. Let me see how you can do that. We'll see how you can draw that. I don't think anybody is telling him that, and he wouldn't take them on. Do something if yes, of course, you're doing it so that people can enjoy it. But I cannot jump out on a stage and go and start a sing dancehall just like that. Nobody can believe me. Right? I cannot sell that. So you, in your own way, if you decide that you want to become a soca or chutney soca artist or chutney alone artist, great. Nobody's saying don't go for it. But you need to understand what the art form is, and you could be a voice that could fit in there, or you could stand out there as well. And those are things that you need to pay attention to, because, as I've said before, this is the music business.
Yep.
All right.
Totally.
So, Big Daddy, what else can we let people know that could help them in, getting somewhere with this? What are some things that we could say, all right, try this, try that? Now, I will start with one thing. You see the competitions? The competitions are good if you use them the correct way. And I say use in a very, very important way. It's because everybody's not going to win. There's going to be one winner, or how many winners the competition says. And if you walk away disgruntled and unhappy and vexed and say, but I do this and I do that and I had fireworks, nobody cares at the end of the day. Whoever the judges are, they make up their mind, and that's it. It's done. And a competition is also a very easy way to both get fans and make money. And I think that's why it's so addictive to people locally. It's because it's a real fast and easy way. It's like, all right, I could just get a song done, send it in. If I get in, I could just do this and just reach somewhere now, right? Whereas
a person, platform,
right? So then automatically, if you do get through, radio is going to play a song. More than likely. And then
more than likely,
then you might get some interviews. People might start to follow you on Facebook and Instagram. Right? So it's a nice, fast way to get through. And that's fine. If you do that, that's fine. But who are you after that? Do you exist? I see some very big name artists. They are nowhere to be found after Carnival. Nowhere. They are not performing anywhere. They have no social media posts. They might do a live stream now and again, or I don't know. I'm not speaking about one person in particular. I'm speaking about several people. And they're just nowhere. They are nowhere. So why did you do all of this? What do you want the people to follow you for if you have no content to give to them? And you need to understand that is the world that we live in now. The world is content. What me and Big Daddy are doing right now is literally content. Hopefully it's content that could be beneficial to you, and by the end results, beneficial to your fans who are going to enjoy the hard work that you put into your
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said one of the things for artists that are inclined towards singing Hindi type songs, right, or Bollywood songs as covers, maybe try creating your own Hindi song from scratch. Maybe, of course, as I said, come up with some nice English lyrics, get them translated. There are many people in Trinidad who know Hindi very well. They can translate it for you. Think about a melody, work hard on a melody, go by the producers, go by different people in the music business and try and create your own melody. And slowly but surely you could work something from that angle. And you could also try branching out into maybe the chutney soca, try and be a little more original. This is just me, and this is just my perspective in terms of what I think needs to be done, because we've gotten to a stage now where the so-called chutney industry has really gone to maybe 75, 80, or maybe even 90% at some points in the year, cover versions. Now, as I said, it's really gotten to a point where almost all of the songs you get are cover versions once it's not carnival time. And then it wasn't like that some years ago. Things have really, really changed over the years. And we wanna get back some sense of, putting Trinidad back into the music, whatever sense it is. Whether you do your own Bollywood type song, whether you do a little chutney, whether even if it's a little kind of indie pop kind of banger or something. I mean, it wouldn't hurt us, as artists, not myself, but the industry to, if you want to say, chart your own course in different genres, right, within what we call the chutney industry, and try and put it back to where it was. Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we had an entirely different industry to what we have now. And I think we've gotten to a stage now where it's really a lot of copying and pasted. And I don't think that was what was intended by, our forefathers and the people who kind of like, built this industry from ground up.
Like I heard today a song that was used in a person's Instagram story. And it wasn't even a song from this year, it was from 2021.
Right.
And it had nothing to do with carnival. It had nothing to do about whining and jamming or nothing like that. But it just sounded so good. And I never heard this song before.
Right.
And I was like, yo. So my thing to do at that point like that is just Shazam it, find out who the artist and the song is, and add it to my playlist. That's what I do.
It wasn't Shake It to the Max, right?
Nothing to do with that.
Shake
It had
it to the
nothing
max.
to do about whining,
Shake it
jamming,
to the
fetting,
max.
drink. It had nothing to do with any of those things. It was just a sweet song. And I was like, right, I'm going to add it to my playlist. It's not that it have nobody whining and jamming anyway, It's just that, I'm just asking, are you doing that all day, every day? I don't know. I don't know if you do that all day right through and stuff. If you are, well, you are really, really good. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah, boy, you all have, that's real pace there, and I cannot keep up with that. But
the vibes
at the same
done.
time, does that speak to most of the people? Is it that when they hear you, all they think about is carnival, one time of the year? Is that the type of artist that you want to be? Because then where else do you exist? Can you exist somewhere else? Do you have, and I'm jumping kind of far ahead, right? Do you have proper management? Don't tell me you're managing yourself and you washing clothes and you answering phone. Yeah, and it's charged so and so. How much? You're paying it or not? Don't tell me that, right? Try and get proper management, and not just management, and not just the neighbor who could answer the phone.
Hold on there, I'm throwing it downy.
or throw in whatever type of detergent you use, right? Don't be like that, please. If you get anything from anything I say, just understand it's the music business. Big Daddy, you have invested in a camera, microphone. Those things are cheap. I just invested in a camera. I have mic here, new equipment, lights. I put up all of that recently. I have lights facing, blinding me here right now. So all of these things cost money because we are investing in ourselves to bring you something that will be entertaining and informative and hopefully beneficial for you to digest. So if I just use the camera on my laptop now, that's how crappy it is. After a while they're gonna be like, wait, after doing all this thing, but you can't get a better camera than that, boy. No, when I went and by the second episode I did.
Yeah.
Right? So it's about investing in your craft, investing in yourself. That's what I'm hoping that you all are doing, and stop taking it so lightly and say, yeah, it's our vibes. While it's our vibes, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just understand it's business.
Imagine
you deal with people that you need to be, and you need to know how to conduct your business. And don't get angry with people and have feelings about it because they didn't do something, because you didn't carry about yourself in a certain way.
Then you can get comments from artists saying, well, why you don't like it? Why it can't go on the radio? My father like it. The fella down the road who had the parlor like it. I went by the grocery and they like it. The piper on the corner, he really like it. he give me a bounce and thing. He say, yeah, man, that fit for radio. That good for radio. So we're like, really? And then people just come and tell us, well, these are the kind of individuals that pass their song and approve their song, so we should play it on radio. Come on,
Are they
man.
sharing? Are
Seriously?
those people sharing it? That's the next thing. Do you have a music video? Do you have a visualizer? Do you have a lyric video? Do you have something that could back it up? That you could say, this is my song. I have it for digestion and consumption in these different platforms in these different ways. So you have audio, you have video. You could also, which is very strongly encouraged, you need to speak about your song and say, okay, this is the story behind the song. One day I was walking up a hill, I was feeling tired, and I started a real sweat down the place. And then somebody at the top of the hill see me sweating, and they take out a rag and they give me, and the person walk away, and I was waving the flag to try and get their attention, but I realized I was waving a flag, and I was like, wait, and for all right, that come up with a song in your head, and that's the story behind the song. As amazing and as simple as that, that's crazy, and that is the story that people would love to hear. So that brings me to my point. My point is that your song, as however simple or complicated, it needs to have a story that is believable.
Yeah.
It needs to have a story that you could sell. So it's not just to say, well, it's a topic that people listening to now. Maybe it's a topic that you can't probably sell effectively. You need to understand your strengths. So some people can sing Hindi very well. You could lead off with that. If you want to start singing English lyrics in your song, you could do that. Case in point, Arijit Singh has an English and Hindi song with Martin Garrix. Do you all know that? It's crazy good. I hope that you are playing it on Radio Now, Big Daddy. If you're not, you need to put it on every rotation. It is so sick. And do not say, well, there's a dance song, it's an EDM, whatever. It have Hindi in it, right? And it is very cool. Listen to it and play it and you'll see. People will like it. And Arijit Singh, I don't know if he ever sang English before or whatever, but it sounded real good. Does Arijit have like an English song or sing English in his music?
I don't think so. In the past, I don't think he's had any English productions, as far as I know.
Right. So in that song, he was, however, inspired to do it. And it was real sick and it sounded real good. So it's not to say that you can't do something, it's how you do it, because we are just listening as the people who just have either headphones or a phone or a computer or speakers or radio, whatever. We are just the person consuming it.
Yeah.
So you need to give us something that is fit and ready for consumption, and you need to believe in it. You need to be able to sell it. You need to be able to, like, if you tell me you have a song and you want me to share it or something like that, like I don't know if I'll do it or not, just for whoever it is, because I need to be able to believe in the song first of all.
Yeah.
I would not just do that even for one of my best friends. I'm not going to do it, because if I don't believe in the song, you are looking at something on my channel, right? So whether it's my Facebook page or Instagram or something like that, that's something that I'm doing. So people are going to see me promoting something. So they're going to say, okay, is this quality or not? And then if I constantly put stuff through my socials that do not stand up to a certain quality, then people are not going to take me on anymore. I might get unfriended or whatever. I mean, I don't really care. But at the same time, I'm not going to put something up there that is not going to be something that I don't like or I don't believe in, or that I can't listen to myself or look at myself. Because I've had people with vulgar videos say, hey, share this now. I don't gonna do that. It's just not something I'm going to do. On my socials.
Yeah, fully
That's
understand.
just me. If somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. That's no problem. But, don't be angry if really you don't want to play a song because either of the lyrics that you're saying, the way that you're doing things, if you're going from, as I say, from key Z to Y, it needs to be done in a way that you could just listen back to it and say, yes, this is very cool. This sounds really good. And
but
play
you
it
gotta
for
be
people
honest.
that you respect.
You gotta be honest with yourself. You cannot mama guy yourself, fool yourself, and of course just take the opinions of the closest people around you, because they will always tell you, oh God, you're doing great. Yes, great job, wonderful. Yes, this is the best. You have to within yourself be somewhat kind of like bipolar, but in a good way, where you are answering your own questions honestly. So if you feel that you have some kind of doubt about the vocals, the production, whatever it is, you need to keep revisiting it and keep checking it and keep doing it and keep doing it over until you're fully satisfied. As Richard said, you have to be able to say, well, yes, this is something I'm really proud of, and I could release this to the world. You know what I mean? But if you're not at that stage, then don't bother even sending it out, because it makes no sense.
Right. This leads me to another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have big names, whether it be another artist, whether it be someone in society, or even a producer. Don't just take their word for it.
Right.
Sometimes they might actually see something that you can't,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're fresh and you're new in the business. They might see something that you can't. And
Yep.
if you believe them and what they say, okay, that's fine. But don't blame anybody if you ultimately decide to put something out there that is not up to your standard
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get a good or decent response from it. And don't get discouraged either, It's not to say I don't do it. So even if you want to take a chance, whether it's your first song or fifth song or 10th song, go ahead, try something, right? But you need to learn from all of your experiences. You need to figure out, why is it doing well here and not well here? Try to figure it out. And in trying to figure it out, you could ask people, say, hey, what do you think about this? Could it work
Yeah.
here? It might work here. Because as another thing, like getting brands or companies to use your song in their advertisements, that's a really important thing. If you have a really cool song that could fit something, whether it be a company that sells, I don't know, shoes or carpets or I don't know, phones or whatever, and you have a song that could fit that, you have to, foresee those things and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this could probably work well here. So how about if I pitch it to these people? Or they might
Mm-hmm.
just approach you and say, hey, we want to use your song in our ad. Could you change up your lyrics and record a new song for me? So let's just say if you spent $5, $10, $15,000 in a studio to record it, those people are going to pay money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
more than likely, to make you re-record that song. And it could
Yeah.
probably charge them double fit
Yep.
because they want your song. You're not cheating anybody. They want your song.
Mm-hmm.
So start with that. And you need to have confidence in yourself. Don't have a weak back. You need to be strong in this thing. You need to
Yep.
believe in yourself and your product. And if you don't, fix it.
Yep.
Try and do something. Get advice. This is not a thing where you're by yourself or you're alone in this. Yes, I know that the industry could seem hard and that you have no support or something, but trust me, there are more people out there like you who would like to get out there as well. And if you
Right.
find people who are in either the same position or who were there not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you form a little alliance or not even an alliance, or just become friends with people, just be cool with people,
Mm-hmm.
then you
Yep.
might actually get as so far as you couldn't even imagine. Like I've had people just walk up to me at places and talk to me like they knew me for years. And just because of that approach, I know that, you're not trying to suck up to anything and or whatever. You're just being real. If you're being real, I could then read you. I know, all right, you're being real, you're being cool, you're normal or whatever. You're not saying, oh God, with a real love house. I don't want to hear all of that. Just, tell me this or that or whatever. Or, I don't know. If you meet me in the grocery, say, hey, well, what brand of raisins better? Or what cereal better? I don't know. Which milk this tastes better, or something like that. Just be
Yeah.
normal
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and, and be cool about things. Don't try to put on nothing and be unnatural about things. And
Yep.
that's something that but a lot of people get turned away from. Or they wouldn't say it to your face, but they'll just say, yeah, well, that fella me really want, or that girl, me really want to be around him too
Yeah.
much
Well,
because
I
they
have
seem
to go
so
and do
fake.
something right now, so we go talk, right?
Yes. One of my closing things is that, again, believe in yourself. if you want to be in this business, you need to put in the work because it is a music business.
Mhm.
Let's say if you have a coffee shop or a tea shop,
Yep.
whichever one, and you set up your shop in a place that you realize people don't really buy tea in, you know,
Mhm.
are you going to stay there, or the place doesn't have any parking? Doesn't make sense stopping there. Who is going to stop and buy your tea? Who is
Yep.
going to stop and buy your coffee? When there's no parking, you could get wrecked, or you're blocking a lane of traffic. Some people do that very comfortably anyway, Trinidad. But, is it that, what type of customers do you have? Do you have walk-in customers? Do you have, is it foot traffic, or is it people driving to come and get your stuff? The bottom line is you have to know where to meet your customers and your clients.
Right.
And you need to know what they are going to be satisfied by.
Mhm.
So if people go to buy tea from somewhere, they need to be satisfied, because let's say like specifically drinking tea is not just about the drinking of the tea, it's the experience.
Right. Right.
So you want to sit in a certain place where either the ambience is amazing, you could see the ocean, it's on a hill,
Mhm.
or there's certain music playing, or there's a rustic something about the place, or
Mhm.
is it modern, or whatever. It has something to do with it, and it's not just about the tea. It's
Yeah.
about the experience.
Yeah.
So jumping off of that now, back into the music, you have to be able to give people an experience. So I heard a song that became my favorite song for Carnival. And it is just like the simplest song, and the lyrics don't even make perfect sense. Like if you say it to somebody, but just because of the way that the person introduced it, and it was a slower song than others. It wasn't like
Mhm.
the typical fast song.
Right.
It was slower than others. So it gave me a chance to actually listen, digest, take in,
Mhm. Mhm.
and enjoy what this person was saying. And that got my attention.
Right.
And it got several other people's attention too, because the song was huge for Carnival,
Mhm.
right? Yes, it's a Carnival centric song, but not Carnival, but festival centric.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could have this really great song that is fit for this type of thing. Or if you're going to a party, you're doing certain things in a party, you're jumping, you're singing, you're whining, or wherever. You could have songs for those things. And again, you need to be the artist or artiste, sorry. But yeah, you're making my own mistake.
Mhm.
You need to be the artist that is supposed to be able to bring that out.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have to be the person that could sell that. Because this is, again, the music business. So you need to
Right.
treat it as such. You need to look after it. You need to invest, because the tea shop don't open with cups. You cannot be selling tea and you have no cup to put it in. You
Yeah.
cannot sell tea with no tea,
Yeah.
right?
And I had no water. Come back later.
I know water. I know sugar. I know milk. I know this. I know that. Where you want a sauce or two?
You go kill me one time.
Yeah, but what you doing, man? So be prepared, and then there are going to be people who are not going to like your song.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just the reality. Then there are people who are going to love your song. So be prepared for both, but believe in what your product is.
Mhm.
And as Big Daddy said earlier, if you don't believe in your product, it may not make sense putting it out there. I will say, take the chance to. Let's say if you're
Right.
young in the business, take the chance, because you could use the feedback that you get to your advantage. You have to be able to learn from it. Don't be offended by something that people said,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, this is your product. This is
Yeah.
your baby. You have to be able to say, right, I did this because of this, and this is why.
Well, some
And
of the
let's
younger
just
ones who
Mhm.
now coming in, right? They would take that chance, as you said, and I totally agree with you in terms of, if you're now entering the business, first, second song, you have a certain way of doing things. There's a particular chemistry for you. There's a particular mix. There's a particular style, or everything else that you want to throw into how you get your song produced. But I think there are a lot of veteran artists as well out there who have been doing this for years, and many of them, are not really having songs that are being played on a regular basis. They don't have the hits like some of the others. And the formula has been the same for years. So, I mean, those are the artists in particular. They need to understand that, maybe they do need to revisit that blackboard and see what is going on, and maybe where they can make the changes, and try to get maybe a slightly different sound, right? A slightly different mix. And who knows, that may work for you. I mean, at a certain point in time, you've gone beyond the stage of being a novice or apprentice or a beginner or whatever it is. And you get into a stage now that, you've been doing it for quite a while. So I think at that stage, you really need to know this has not been working the way I want it to work. And I feel I need to implement some changes. And some artists have done that and have been successful.
Yeah, and don't buy the chain up.
Yeah.
Don't buy the chain up, please. Just because this big name says something, may not be your friend. They may not be looking out for your best interest.
Yep.
Please understand that. Take
Yep.
everything that people say with a grain of salt and just move forward. Don't stop. That's the important thing. Don't stop. Don't give up.
Believe
You need to keep believing. So don't stop believing. Right? You could do it, you can make it, because as I have done in my own life, I've actually charted more than I thought I did. Several ways where there weren't positions existing, and I actually got work, have done work where there has not been any vacancy to fill. I just created a position. So you could actually, in the same way, create a position where you stand out. Yeah, you could probably fit a genre or something, but you need to be able to stand out because maybe your voice is just amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe your voice is just suited in a way to certain types of songs, or it could be hilarious and funny songs. It could be songs where you're just singing real hard, because some of these singers
real hard.
can sing just real hard and ball on the place, and it could be enjoyable in a way.
Yeah. I understand.
So whatever you have to understand where your strengths are. It may be one, it may be five things you could do, but understand what your strengths are, and you use those things to the best of your ability. Then maybe that you use one of the strengths and go forward. And then you just use another one and you just keep adding on.
True.
And then people will be like, whoa, there's a lot more. And then people start to take note. And then you know what happens? People start to go back into your discography. They start to go back and say, all right, how did this person start? What's the first song that they had? Did they have a music video for it? I want to see how they used to look back then. They had a side brush or a middle part. Where does they have? People are inquisitive. They want to find out those things. And that's a natural thing. I understand that. Nobody's just listening to your song just for that song.
Yeah, true.
People love a story. Why do you think a lot of these carnival shows, people try to put you in this space and say, oh, and you'll be in this wonderland where this and that will be happening? Wherever you just go in a place and you hear music and it's loud and people shouting at you. That's what it is. Right?
Yeah,
but if you could go in and say, yes, well, the ambience was great, because they do put in the work, just by the way. They do put in the work, but at the end of the day, you're in a place that you pay to go inside of, or not. You go inside this place and you go to enjoy yourself. You go to enjoy the music and the company and
the
live and
vibes.
stuff like that, and the vibe. So
yeah,
if you could make people enjoy themselves in a situation like that or something else, great. Do it. And I wish you all the best. So that's it from me.
Well, I hope that we have both given you a lot of food for thought, as they say, and hopefully you guys can implement some of this. Hopefully, we don't want you to just dive into it one time and just start to make wholesale changes, but slowly but surely, if things aren't exactly how we said they should or ought to be, maybe you could start looking and probably, try slowly but surely again, editing, changing, applying different things, and who knows, it may work out very, very well for you in the near future. So let's see how it unfolds.
And that's probably why your song not played on radio yet. So let's change that, right? Let's work on it. Do your best. We believe in you. We fighting for you. That's
Yep.
why we're doing this.
Yep,
So I'm
definitely.
DCMO. Thank you for listening and watching.
And I am Big Daddy. Yep. Thank you very, very much. Of course, this is just episode 2. We have many, many more topics that we'll be covering. So just, follow us on all the socials. We're on everything right now. And of course, look out for much, much more. I see I'm getting some hand signals there.
Yeah, to check here for this and that. And I just feel like if you have links. Yeah. Check here and here and here and wherever. All over. We have a link here and there and there and here. Everywhere.
All
Up,
over.
down,
Right.
left, right, and all over.
Right. So the Curry Stew, the Chutney podcast. They don't know.
Thank you for watching.